What is up? It is another episode of Dynasty Pylon. My name is Martin. I'm here with Mark. We're doing a pre-recorded show on Tuesday, so it come out on Wednesday. Mark's amazing job prevents him from going on the days we want to go.
This isn't on me. I'm off tomorrow.
What is it? Oh, that's right. Well, actually, last week.
Last week was me.
Yeah, no, this week is me. I'll be heading back home. So yeah, you're absolutely right. This is on me. But today, what you had a little plan for what QBs?
QBs.
Is that what just QBs? Any specifics behind this or?
Oh no, I just wanted to kind of go over QBs that I feel, or maybe you feel, or like in general, are best for when you're doing your dynasty or keeper drafts. Because I feel like there's some QBs to gun for, there's some to stay away from. I don't know, just haven't gone over positions, so I thought this would be kind of cool to go over.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have a few sleepers that I think a quarterback should be going. Some of them a little bit more surprising than others, only due to their abilities. I think one of them I might surprise you on. I'll mention that later. But so do you want to go over your top 10 that you think will probably, like, if your predictions at the end of the year?
Well, yeah, we could do that.
Top 10, right?
I had a top 5, but I mean, I could do 10 probably. It's not that hard.
Top of your head.
Yeah.
Go for it.
One of them on my list, I don't know if he's going to be playing this year, but I feel like if you're doing a dynasty draft this year, he's a must get, especially for like next year and the years coming. But the other guys on my list will probably ball out this year, yes.
Okay, so who are those guys?
My top guy, I mean, I think he's going to be everyone's top guy. He's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
You have to say
my
top.
As well.
Yeah, he's going to be. I mean, he's got the stats. He's young still. He's still going to play for like 10, 15 plus years.
Allegedly.
But yeah, allegedly. Let's see. If he really follows Tom Brady, he could be playing for the next 20 years. Who knows?
Right. I mean, I agree with you at number one.
But that's going to take a high first pick to get him. Unfortunately,
a couple of firsts. I mean,
well, that's if you're trading
for him.
But if you're doing the initial draft, you're like, he's going to go one, no later than 2.
Probably.
So you'll have to get lucky to get him.
And that's because he's consistent, though. So he's also my number one. So I agree with what you just said. So.
Yeah, my number 2 is going to be Josh Allen.
Okay.
He's a guy I've liked since he played at Wyoming.
Took
him a year. Took him a year to materialize a little bit, but once he got going, he's taking it and rolling, man. He's going to be good. My number 3 is Justin Herbert.
Okay.
I like what they're doing with his offensive line, and he has crazy good weapons. He's going to be good. My number 4 is Trey Lance. He's the one guy. Yeah, he's the one guy.
Wow.
He's the one guy that I think maybe not this year, but he will be QB1 in San Francisco next year for sure, 100%.
So in a startup draft, you would take him as your number 4.
Yeah.
Now, assuming how many years out?
Huh?
Well, assuming because he's your number 4, right?
Yeah.
So assuming how many years out do you think he's going to be relevant? Because you're going to take him as your number 1. Is that what you're saying, right?
I think if he sits this year, he comes out firing next year. Like, he's already looked amazing in training camp, and he looked really good in his first preseason. Oh, yeah, preseason game. Almost said spring training. What sport am I talking about?
Well, I mean, for me, that's bold, man. I think I would probably wait later in the rounds. I think I would establish myself with a higher tiered QB before I would get Trey Lance.
Well, I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying he's in my rankings. He's my number 4. I'm not saying I would draft him as my number 1 QB.
Okay. All right. See, I'm misunderstood. So I'm thinking like as a startup draft, like you would take him as your number 4. Like if you're somewhere in the line and you're like, I don't know,
Oh,
fourth or
these
fifth
are
round.
these for me as I'm ranking them. These are the guys that I want to get on my team, not
Okay.
necessarily to start right away, but these are guys I'm looking at getting.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
My number 5 is Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
I think he only had last year was the first year in his what is it? I can't pronounce his name. The head coach, Wiskowski.
Oh yeah. The new Browns coach. They're the
Yeah,
second year now.
yeah,
Like he's
second year.
actually.
So
Yeah.
he had to pick up a whole new playbook last year, and you saw how good. Now he has a whole year with that. Plus, I
Right.
mean,
This is
they're
the first year where Baker doesn't have to actually deal with a new playbook, new
exactly,
coach, new everything.
exactly.
So
I really and he's got camaraderie and like he's been with those receivers for 2-3 years now, all of
hmm
them. I think this will be. I think this could be the Browns' year, honestly,
okay.
especially
So to my
offensively.
so to my understanding, so those top five, those are guys that you want to leave your draft with, because
Hmm.
I see that you kind of put them in like a type of tier.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, if you can nail Patrick Mahomes, you can get him, but if not,
yeah,
it's highly unlikely because he's probably going to go first round. So, um, but you're saying Patrick Mahomes, then you said Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Who was your fourth one?
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, and then Baker Mayfield. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
uh, okay. I see your point there. So you would take Trey Lance over Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence?
Yes,
Is there a reason why?
I think basically the only reason I'm taking him over those two is as an organization around Trey Lance. I think the 49ers are better.
Okay.
They have like what 3-4 all pros on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. No.
granted, I think the receivers altogether, I think, are pretty even across the board. Chicago might actually even have better receivers than the other two teams. But I also really like George Kittle
hmm
for Trey Lance to throw to. It's kind of a
Right.
security blanket for him.
No. Okay. I mean, I see that. For me, if I'm gonna get like leave the draft at least with Trey Lance, I would probably get him as my second QB later in the
Yeah,
rounds.
exactly.
But we're saying that you want to leave with him, and these are your top five guys that you want to leave your draft with. Uh, I don't disagree. I think that Trey Lance will be good, and I've said this before. I think Josh Allen represents the future of, or I guess, or Trey Lance would be Josh Allen's future. I guess if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah, no.
So I see that maybe 3 seasons from now, 2 seasons from now, ish. Um, but I mean, your top five. I don't agree. So, or I do agree. But I think in my top five, I would say Patrick Mahomes, obviously number one, and for same reason that we were saying that
Hmm.
he's going to be there for a while. Uh, they seem to revolve the offense around him, and also, he's just good. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's well-rounded QB that you can't ask for anything better. And my number two. Um, is kind of is Josh Allen as well. I debated between him and Dak and maybe Kyler, only because I feel like Kyler Murray and Josh Allen have that rushing ability, which in any leagues, if you have that rushing yards, it's always a plus to have compared to QBs that don't really typically rush.
Hmm.
That's all air. So I saw them kind of similar. And then the only downfall for me of Kyler Murray was Cliff Kingsbury. He's kind of on the fence right now. If he doesn't turn that team around, it might be goodbye for him.
Well, if it's
So
goodbye for Cliff, it's probably goodbye for Kyler. So
I don't think for Kyler. I think Kyler would still be there. I think it would be a new coach. You think that the whole team and the QB
maybe
with
not
the
the whole
coach?
team, but I mean, Cliff came in with the basically the motto: "Kyler's my guy. He's going to be my quarterback."
Right.
So unless you bring in the same kind of head coach with the same kind of game plan, I mean, if you bring in a guy who likes a pocket passer, he's not going to keep Kyler Murray.
No, I mean,
Just depends on who
true.
they bring in, I guess. I guess it depends on who they bring in to replace.
Yeah, but if a
Kingsbury.
good head coach came in, and there are those who aren't that good, but I mean, there's only 32 spots, so we're talking about the 32 best of the best from what NFL would think that these are the best head coaches there is for that season, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they come in and they see Kyler Murray's ability, I think they would adapt and change their offense. Because then we're gonna see another Cam Newton. Because Cam Newton, they tried to change him from not so much rushing all the time and stay in the pocket. And clearly, that didn't work out for him. And then his career kind of plummeted.
Still not
And then
working out for him.
oh yeah, it's still not. But I think that potentially Cam Newton can save his career this season. But we'll see. I mean, obviously he didn't do that great in preseason, which week 1 was not too long ago, a couple days ago. But I kind of left Kyler Murray at a lower rank. So Josh Allen is also my number 2. I probably will actually gun for him more than I would for Patrick Mahomes, only because of that rushing ability. And then I had a tie with Dak Prescott. A lot of people are not. They're kind of skeptical about him and Joe Burrow because they're coming back from their injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Dak Prescott,
rightfully so. I mean,
yeah, I mean they're both QBs coming from an injury, one more than the other, but I still think that Dak still has the weapons, and if he says he's healthy, and which most NFL players, when they say they're healthy, they're good to go. Typically, they're like, oh, I'm not too sure, or then someone in the media says, oh, we're just going to keep him safe and we're not going to play him for the first couple weeks of preseason. Like, it kind of gets me a little bit worried about are they going to be ready for the season? But the fact that he's out there, and yeah, we have this little shoulder injury, but I'm not too worried. They're saying he's doing okay. He's doing fine. I'm not worried about anything. But for me, he would be somewhere around the number 2 range with Josh Allen. And then so I guess my number 3 would probably be Herbert.
You're on 4.
Well, I mentioned the 2 and 3.
Oh, so you said side. Oh no, you said
yeah. It was like I couldn't decide, but I would say
bad.
Herbert would probably be my 3. For basically the same reasons you said. I think he was your number 4?
3. Oh yeah,
3
4.
as well?
Sorry, 4. No, he was 4.
I think he's 3 to me. He's still young. He still has a lot. I don't think we've seen the ceiling for him yet. I still think there's more to him than what we actually saw. He'll have a healthier line, better weapons now this season, and maybe with Eckler being there this entire time, and then Larry Roundtree coming in, who if you've heard anything about it, he's been coming out of the woodwork, and so he might be that RB2 who's just as good as, if not the same as Eckler, but people are arguing that. I mean, no one's as good as Eckler on that team, but he could potentially be as good as him.
Eckler just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah. But so honestly, and if you think if this is going to be a bold one, my number 4 right now is Matthew Stafford. Okay, and
he's in my top 10. I don't disagree with that at all.
He's been in a trash team his whole career, and now he's got a good team with better weapons, a better line. Everything's upgraded for him, and Matthew Stafford has always been a top tier QB on the upper half of the tiers. So I don't see why he wouldn't be in the top 10 this season. But as for Dynasty, I think that he would be a good pickup in your startups because I think he's going to be there for a couple of seasons, and I think he's going to turn that team around. A lot of people might agree and have an argument that the coaching and everything is different, but I still think that Matthew Stafford is probably one of the key guys that you probably get in the later rounds. And my last one is Jalen Hurts. And also,
really?
yes. So
wow.
Jalen Hurts, we only had like 5 games to a couple 6 games of him last season. But 3 of those, he was the top 3 quarterback of the week with the trash off with trash O-line, with no receivers. He had Miles Sanders for about maybe 2 or 3 of those games. So if everything's healthy and everyone's back, and not only they got Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor on the other side, like why wouldn't his numbers go up? Why wouldn't they grow up together? Like they have the same rookie contracts ish, like minus a year or two. But I think this squad can grow up and get that chemistry in the next couple of seasons. And he has that rushing ability that everyone forgets about. That maybe they're considering it, but I think Jalen Hurts, if you're in the later rounds, I think he'd be a good asset for a dynasty squad. But again, he's probably also forgotten about in the first couple rounds because you're getting everyone else. But I think he's as my number 5. So Jess is just dynasty though. I mean, there's other honorable mentions that I think that like Tannehill and Rodgers. I think a couple seasons still, but we'll see.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if you could that's why I kind of like Trey Lance, because Trey Lance affords you the ability to go out and get a Rodgers or a Stafford, or like you can get one of those older quarterbacks. But if you're able to land Trey Lance as well, you could literally just transition and be like, okay, well he's gone now. I got Trey Lance. And it's like a seamless transition, and boom,
and save yourself a couple years.
Yeah.
No, and I agree with that. So, I was actually in our last our draft, actually yours and I was actually gunning for one of these top rookies, the QBs. I did land one of them, and I'm actually gracious for that. But I think that Jacksonville can turn it around. They did major upgrades to that defense, which was a big part of their issues. Now they need to work on the offense. The first
game, a weird thing to say, considering 4 years ago they had like the best defense in the league.
Yeah. I mean, they did change it.
Turnover.
I mean, I still think that Jags still can go back into the playoffs like they did before. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good turnaround when they made the playoffs, but they made playoffs, so they were a contending team. And then Trey Lance, you're right. 49ers, everything that they do there is great. It seems like they're going to build around Trey Lance. What the 49ers are going to do with Trey Lance, they're going to build around him, is what it seems like. Even Raheem Mostert is still good this season. And then with Trey Sermon right behind him, it's perfect. And if you missed Trey Sermon's last game in the preseason, he did pretty good. So, and then I guess the third one was Justin Fields. I think their only downfall might be Matt Nagy, but we'll see if he can change it around this season. But I still think that the Bears, I think they're going to do good, man. It's scary to say that. I think they might actually be able to do something this season. I don't think they're going to make like high in the playoffs. I mean, they got lucky last season, but they could still make playoffs this season. I just don't see them winning the division, unfortunately, but we'll see.
No, not with Rodgers back, unfortunately.
I don't see it either. But they have upgraded a lot. And then with who I like to say as mac and cheese, McCorkle, he did pretty good. I don't know if you saw that. He actually impressed me. I thought he did pretty good. And another one who surprised me the most was Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I was watching his highlights. I was like, wow.
Zach Wilson did actually pretty good. So,
considering he wasn't even there for most of it.
Right.
He had signed his contract.
Yeah, that's true.
Arguing about guaranteed money.
But, hey, I mean, if from what he showed us, was it Saturday? I mean,
yeah,
his argument was, he definitely showed it. So I don't see why or why not. It was a valid argument. I mean, if he can continue that, I do expect him and Elijah Moore doing great things in the future. But we'll see from there. So anything else that you like wanted to discuss? Like any deep sleepers that you might have?
Deep sleepers.
Yeah, like I
Um,
mean, mine was Jalen Hurts. I mean, you're number
the
50.
only thing I have with Jalen Hurts is do the Eagles believe in what you just said? Because I keep hearing they're trying to trade for Deshaun Watson,
That's not gonna happen.
and I'm like,
That's not gonna happen. I
I don't
like. I
understand.
really. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Eagles and the Philadelphia, the whole organization, just need to kill that, squash it. Like, don't even like. It's not gonna happen. There's no way. It seems to me Houston wants way too much. Like they
Yeah.
want 3 firsts. Like, come on. Like nobody even knows if he's gonna even play this season, and he's only there so he doesn't get fined. So what's the point? And other than that, though, I mean, uh,
Well, I mean, Baker Mayfield's a sleeper. He's like ranked in the 18, like the high teens, early 20s in most rankings.
right.
But
I mean,
I think he's gonna ball this year. I really do.
I think so too. I think this is the year where he becomes that true leader. Like, if not, he's already a true leader. But I think this year he's definitely going to be that main guy. Like both offense and defense, I think the entire team's going to look at him as that leader, and I think he's going to turn that entire team. His only big step, his biggest hump, is to control OBJ. I mean, if he can control OBJ, I think they won't have any problem because he's that diva on that team. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think last season they had that issue where everything was all about OBJ. And if Baker Mayfield didn't please him, it seemed like it would be a lot stressful on Baker. So, because we all saw it after after OBJ left, the Browns did phenomenal,
Yeah.
even in crap weather.
Yeah. After he
So
got hurt, they took off offensively for sure.
yeah. So, uh, what else you got on the QBs?
I mean, I kind of, especially in Dynasty, I kind of stay away from like older guys personally. I mean, unless you can, like I said, unless you can get the younger guy to bridge the
As a
gap.
backup?
Yeah. No, I mean as a starter.
Okay.
Like, I mean, unless it depends on how you're trying to build your team. If you're like, I'm going for first 2 years, I'm winning it all. Then I guess maybe getting like an Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, which I would never draft in a million years.
I mean, if I were to get Tom Brady, I would have to win now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tom Brady would be a win now. I'm contending for the championship now. Uh, he says he's going to play till he's 45, and that's the scary thing that we don't know if he is or if he isn't.
Well, I think it's only like 2 years now. I think he's like
Well,
43 now.
yeah. So you know, and for dynasty purposes, I think that if you're going to get him, I would probably go after like one of these younger guys as your second. Now, another guy I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if you saw the first time everyone saw him play. Uh, what did you think about Jordan Love? Did you get a chance to watch him?
I did.
What did you think?
Um, from what I heard in training camp, he was having issues, but he didn't seem too bad to me.
When I was watching him,
He was
everything they
doing his
said, decent.
reads. He had check downs. I mean, he had a
I
nice
think he
screen
threw an
pass.
interception, didn't he?
I think he threw one, yeah, but
Which is nothing to worry about.
I mean, a lot of people threw interceptions. So
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I didn't think it was too bad for his first game because technically that was his first
yeah,
game.
because they had no
No
preseason last year.
So,
Yeah.
are you worried about the Packers? If this is Rodgers' year, like his last year, right? Do you think that Jordan Love can actually take over that team, or do you think they're going to draft someone?
Well, I think I'm gonna go with the stance they can. I mean, they picked him in the first round for a reason. Um, Clearly, they saw something in him that screamed, "Hey, this guy can do what we need him to do." And from what I saw I mean, I didn't see the actual game. I just saw highlights. So obviously,
Mm-hmm.
it was just like nice pass after nice pass. But from what I saw, I mean, it looks like he can do it.
I think
I
so.
mean, I didn't see anything that said he couldn't do it. I guess I should say.
Right. he wasn't like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And, like it wasn't anything like
Yeah,
what's
and I
that guy
didn't
we saw?
hear any or see any plays where they were like,
Right.
"Oh, look how horrible this throw is," or "Look at this bad throw," or "Look
He
at this
wasn't
bad
like
decision."
what's that kid we saw out of the Senior Bowl? Moon, Jamie Moon. What's his name?
Yeah, the guy from Wake Forest.
Yes, he didn't perform like that. So
No,
I think I think it's safe to say he'll do okay. I think I still need a little bit more, and we'll see these next couple preseasons how he does. But I don't think that he's going to be good yet. I think he still needs a little bit more time under his belt. We'll see. Maybe he shakes it off this next preseason and he just lights it up next week, which will be great.
yeah.
But so there's another guy I want to talk about was Jacob Eason. Did you catch the Colts and Panthers game?
I did not see any of those ones, unfortunately.
I was very impressed with Jacob Eason.
Not being impressed with him. I need Wentz to come back.
I know, but for what I'm seeing, I thought if they decides to put Wentz, they push it back a couple weeks. I don't think that the Colts are going to have anything to be worried about.
I heard he's already practicing with them again. So,
well, I mean that's kind of fast for a surgery, don't you think?
well, I already saw video of him throwing and everything, planting on the foot. I guess the surgery went exceptionally well.
Surgery was it the back foot that really?
I don't know. Yeah, apparently the surgery went exceptionally well. So,
oh, that's good to hear. I mean,
I think it was just I guess it was just like where they go in and scrape some of the like dead bone and stuff out. Yeah, they just went and cleaned it up. It wasn't like a major like put the ligaments back together surgery.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
yeah,
that's good for him.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if I know we'll talk about receivers soon. Probably not next week. I think next week we're doing running backs. Next week following week we'll do receivers tight end. But I'm gonna bring up Michael Pittman during that time. I don't think he's anything to be worried about. Is he lower on my rankings? Not so much. What I saw with Jacob Eason was fantastic. What I saw with Sam Ehlinger, fantastic. That guy can run. Like he might be another rushing type QB, but again, I don't think.
Is he also on the Colts?
He's also on the Colts. I think that the Colts have the best QBs there.
I did see some highlights from that game. The backup for the Panthers apparently did really good.
Yeah, PJ Walker.
Yeah, that's his name.
Who's another good sleeper. I mean, if your main guy goes down, I like as the starter from these teams.
Well, he did. He played in like 3 or 4 games last year for Teddy, I think, too.
Yes, yeah, he did.
And he wasn't terrible.
No, but he's also the guy that was in the XFL, and he came over to the NFL and that guy pretty much this entire time. But I think he did fine. The only one I didn't really get to watch was Tampa Bay. Did you get a chance to watch Kyle Trask?
I didn't, but I heard he actually did good.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard nothing on him. I think it wasn't too much, but I'm gonna have to. That was the one team I just felt like I didn't want to watch.
There's this one list from Sportsnot, and they have him ranked 18
as a dynasty pickup. I mean, the guy's 6'5".
Yeah.
240. So I mean, with that height, you should be good, right? I'm looking up here. He had 15 passes for 35 yards.
Well, maybe he wasn't good.
It's probably it's not that great.
No, it's like
barely
Blaine 2 yards.
Yeah, so I guess Blaine Gabbert pretty much took over the number 2 spot. So I think Kyle Trask, there might be some time needed.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to get it. Tom Brady's going to play for 2 more years, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I forgot he went in the first round too, didn't he? He was like the last pick.
Was he first round, last, or the second? I know he's.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think it was second.
Yeah, so
I think they took a defensive guy in the first.
So I don't know if he caught there. Okay, let me reiterate this. If I can fast forward time 2-3 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons, and if I keep seeing Felipe Franks do what he did, I think Felipe Franks might be the starting QB. That's a
Really?
bold prediction. Bold prediction. Did you see what he did?
No, he was in the Senior Bowl, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I was gonna say that name sounded really familiar.
Oh, but he did
Not very
pretty
often
good,
you
man.
hear a quarterback named Felipe.
Oh. But he did good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that he wasn't drafted. I know they picked him up like an undrafted free agent. So I remember him coming in last season. Potentially could be a good, backup or whatever. But he did really good. So Felipe Franks, freaking 6'7",
Holy crap!
230. Like, dude, when he
So
was
he's
getting
like
rushed,
T-Law but built.
no, when he was getting rushed, dude, he reminded me of like T-Law, half T-Law, half Big Ben. Okay, and I'm not saying this because of Homer, but like he scrambled and he stiff armed like two guys out of his way. It was like, dude, that looks like Big Ben. Like he just like playing with children, and then he did like
Wow.
he completed a pass. Like I can't. I'm looking up his stats right now, but he didn't do too bad. But from what I know is, I'm excited to watch them in the preseason. This is what I love about preseason. Like Dynasty football is where you watch all these backups come in, and potentially you think you got to send them in your taxi squads or not. But I love preseason. So I don't know about you, but watching all these QBs making their debuts. I know last season we didn't have anything, so
Oh,
it's
I
kind of
watched the entire Washington football New England Patriots game. So
that one I missed. That one
yeah.
I missed. I know you were telling me about that. I think I
And
was
then right
driving.
after the Eagles and Steelers game was re-aired,
Oh,
so
really?
I watched most of that one too.
Yeah, so how do you think about your team?
We overall, I think the starters they looked kind of rusty to be honest.
Okay.
Um, not good when Cam Newton just drives down on your defense. Granted, we held him to a field goal, but
Yeah.
also, is it just put a Patriots freaking jersey on and you're like the best kicker in the league or what? Because some rookie guy I never even heard of was like 4 for 4, just everything right down the middle. Like, who is this guy?
Dynasty's all about. Exactly. Who is
Because
this guy?
apparently they're Nick Folk or whoever they have is hurt,
Uh-huh.
so they have this
So they brought
rookie
in some
guy.
scrub.
Yeah, they brought in some like undrafted rookie kicker, and he just makes everything. I'm like, must be a Patriots thing, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so real quick, if you want to just run down your top 5 QBs
Yeah.
that you want to leave your draft with, right? At least with
Yep.
one of these guys.
Yep.
All right.
Well, maybe 2 of them if you're going the Trey Lance
I'll
route.
change mine up since I know 2 of them that we agreed on was Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Well, I mean, it'd be crazy if you didn't think they were 1 and 2, though.
Well, I mean, I feel like you should probably, if you don't have one of them, then you're probably on a gun for someone else that you know. Like, I feel like you need to leave with one of these rookie QBs, regardless of the fact.
Yeah.
Like, at least you can, like, I was impressed with all of them. I was. So every single one, I was like, as much as they said we hyped them up this entire offseason, they showed what they're good for.
Or even Mac Jones. Because I watched that game, Mac Jones. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen,
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance as your number 3. Herbert was your 4, and 5th was
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. All right. So I'm going to change up 2 of mine just so it's not the same. Obviously, because we have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, but I guess if I'm going to do a startup dynasty draft. Obviously, with one of the rookies, I want to leave with any one of them. But I think if I'm going to rank all of them over, man, I think I'd take Trey Lance over Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is probably my number 2 guy out of the rookies.
I think he kind of reminds me of Russell Wilson a little bit.
Yeah,
he's a smart guy. He has somewhat of a rushing ability, not like the best, but he's decent at it. He makes good decisions. So again, Patrick Mahomes number one, out Josh Allen number two. I'm gonna put Dak as number three. He's still young. He's still in his 20s. He still got it. He just signed like a 5 to 6 year contract with the Cowboys. He's gonna be there with CeeDee Lamb for a while. Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper might be out the door soon, but at least he still has CeeDee Lamb there. Blake Jarwin and who's the other tight end? The battle of the tight ends there that they have. Blake Jarwin and starts with the D.
I don't know.
Cowboys tight end.
Isn't it Blake Jarwin?
No, Blake Jarwin's the number one guy who supposedly was supposed to be the guy last season. Then he got injured, and then they brought in someone else, the backup, who did pretty good. And for some reason, I'm drawing a blank. But either way, regardless of the fact, I think Dak, I'm not leaving a draft without him. If I'm up there. My number two guy I'm probably not going to leave without is Herbert. I guess that's another third guy we kind of agreed. But either Fields, Lance, I think those guys you probably need for sure.
Dalton Schultz.
Schultz. Oh, Schultz. What's his first name?
Dalton,
yeah.
Because it was Dalton Schultz, I used to say.
Dalton, yeah. I don't know why I remember his first name over his. Yeah. I said it started with a D. So it was Dalton Schultz. Both of those tight ends are pretty good. So who knows? They might run a double tight over there, or vice versa. Either way, one of them is going to be in. It's going to be good. I think Dak is going to be still good. Everyone's like, oh, his injuries, whatever, dude. And honestly, I think either Tannehill or Jalen Hurts, of course, and either Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I think one of those guys. I'm definitely not. I'm probably going to gun after one of those guys at least to help my franchise and my dynasty, and probably keep them there for a couple of years. And you can always use that taxi squad if it's available as well. So for me, that's so. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about the QBs or anything?
I think we talked about just about everything.
All right, so I got one more question.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to be the guy? Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock?
I don't know. Drew Lock looked really good. Which is a weird thing to say.
I know. Teddy Bridgewater is going to get the start this week too, so it's going to flip flop.
So they're flip flopping.
Yeah, as if the announcement said so.
From what I heard, that performance, as of right now, I guess we'll have to wait for week 2, see what Teddy does. But as of right now, from things I've seen and heard, Drew Lock will probably be the starting QB going into week 1.
Which is sad. I really thought that Teddy Bridgewater was. I think you and I were both kind of high on Teddy Bridgewater.
I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, that's a good pickup for him.
And I wonder if it took this competition to have Drew Lock be like, okay, I need to get my act together because I could potentially never play another snap.
Yeah.
So maybe that's probably what it was.
You know what I think really helps him though?
Drew Lock.
Because even from like last year, even when he was struggling, for some weird reason, he still had this weird connection with Judy. Like he could get Judy the ball.
Yeah.
But that was it. He couldn't get anybody else the ball. But I think
there's one week where they didn't have any QBs at all.
Yeah, because of COVID.
That was a funny week. That's our QBs, man. There's not really much on IDP. We didn't really hit up on that. We'll get more IDP news later. Right now, I know everyone's kind of in their redraft leagues right now, but I guess the only IDP news right now is Jamal Adams signed his a 4-year extension.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I think that's going to be good for IDP guys. Definitely probably look for him as top tier safeties for sure. He's going to be the it guy. It looks like they're going to focus the defense around him. So he might play a little bit in the box like he did last season, maybe even more. So
he did a lot. He like almost led the league in sacks.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a really good safety. I would not be surprised if he's top 5 this season again.
Oh, for sure.
So, anyways, that's our QB episode. It's draft season, so hopefully we can get Casey on next week. He's he's I've been talking to him a little bit. He's been wanting to jump on the show. He has his own little podcast from the Tater Tot. So we'll get to talk to him and see what he's about. But I know he had a little issue today with a job interview. So hopefully we get to see him next week. I look forward to that. And yeah, so next week we'll be doing running backs, and I have a couple of questions for you on the running backs.
On the committee. Interesting.
There is a lot more committees than we are used to, and what we
I know.
So that should be fun. Of course, QBs are QBs. It could be exciting or it could be yeah, we'll dive into that next week. So yeah, that's it, man. So
all right.
Wherever the hell you're at, good morning, good evening, good night. My name is Martin. This is I'm here with Mark, Dynasty Pylon, and I'll check you out next week on Wednesday live, 6 p.m. and we'll see you then.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place in that